Yes. Yes. So I, Manisha Mange, CA Manisha Mange, on behalf of Women Members Empowerment Committee of ICI, like to welcome you all to the Sky High Symposium Series 39. This series, Sky High Symposium, is a Wednesday series of programs conducted by the Committee of the Women and by the Women. It is one of the Women Members Empowerment Committee initiatives to not only disseminate information to women members on technical updations, non-technical updations, but also to empower and inspire women members to come in front and realize their verbal skills and speak at the public forums. So with this, I would like to also thank the committee to have such a wonderful series all Wednesdays, Sky High Symposium. Thank you, Chairperson Shri Priya Ma'am, Vice Chairperson Preeti Savla Ma'am for the wonderful series. Today we are going to cover the sessions on interplay GST and IBC and mindful management. So we have two sessions. First is the interplay between GST and IBCs. Second session is mind management. So both the speakers are wonderful speakers. So for the first session, I would like to introduce introduction by CA Kinjal Mirani. Please introduce our first speaker for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha. Our
Yes,
first session is on interplay between the GST and IBC. For that, we have a wonderful speaker, Ms. Nivedita Agarwal. She is a chartered accountant and law graduate. CA Nivedita specializes in indirect taxes and is actively involved in GST advisory since the implementation of GST. With an experience spanning of over 7 years, she is currently associated with the consulting division of Lakshmi Kumaran and Sridharan tax attorneys in Mumbai. CA Nivedita handles several long-term retainer clients providing advice on strategy, operations, and optimization of tax benefit. Her client base comprises of some of the leading names across sectors such as metals, petroleum, FMCG, and insurance. She has expertise in handling complex tax issues involving classification, valuation, input tax credit eligibility, etc. She has also handled tax compliance reviews and undertaken assignments to provide efficient tax solution to her clients. Nivedita has numerous publications on a wide range of topics in indirect taxes to her name and regularly speaks in webinars in indirect tax issues. With this, I would request CA Nivedita Agarwal to start the session and we will have a wonderful session.
Hi, thank you, Kinjal, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. So, as we already discussed, today I'm going to speak on interplay between GST and IBC. The topic is a little new, exciting, and interesting because both the laws are new. They've been introduced in 2016 and 2017, respectively. It's just been 5 to 6 years since the introduction. Now the applicability of the law is in full force, and we see that many unique and new issues are coming up under GST because of applicability of IBC law. So before we deep dive, I just want to say that I am a subject expert in GST and I only have working knowledge of IBC. So there might be some nomenclature or there might be some words which I may be using incorrectly. So pardon me for that. So moving forward. Before deep diving into today's agenda, just want to make the audience familiar with a few words that we are going to use during today's webinar. So supposing there is a company, let's say company X, which is not in good financial health. So there is a creditor of the company which has initiated insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings against the company. The proceedings which are initiated against this company is known as the CIRP proceedings, that is Corporate Insolvency Resolution Proceedings. This company which is going into insolvency is known as corporate debtor. So once this company goes into IRP, then a resolution professional is appointed who will undertake the professional resolution of this company. and he will invite resolution plans from people who are interested in either buying out this company or in running this company, etc. So the persons who are interested in acquiring this company, who are going to submit resolution plans, are known as resolution applicants. Thereafter, the resolution plans that are submitted by these resolution applicants go to the committee of creditors. Committee of creditors are persons who are owed money by the corporate debtor. So then they look at the resolution plans by different resolution applicants and see which one would be the most beneficial to them. If they are agreeable to some plan, they approve that plan, and then that goes to NCLT. Once NCLT approves the plan, the resolution plan is successful and approved, and the resolution applicant becomes a successful resolution applicant. So broadly, these are the terms which I will be using during the seminar. With this, moving forward, so under GST, the first issue that is coming, so the first issue that I will be discussing is the claims of the GST department post approval of resolution plan. So let's say there is a company who is gone into this insolvency and bankruptcy. Now, the company was liable to pay, let's say, ₹100 to the government. As per the resolution plan that has been approved by the Committee of Creditors and thereafter by the NCLT, the government will only be paid ₹20. So out of 100, only 20 is to be paid to the government as per the plan, and this will be considered as the full and final payment. The corporate debtor is making payment of this ₹20 to the government also. But practically, what is being seen is that the government is coming after all of these people and they are not accepting the resolution plan. Even after the resolution plan is specifically asking for payment of ₹20, the government is issuing show cause notices, etc., and asking the corporate debtor to pay the remaining amount of ₹80. So what is the legal position regarding this? First and foremost, section 31 of the IBC code says that once the resolution plan is binding on all stakeholders, including creditors, and government being considered an operational creditor under IBC, the plan is also binding on the government. So as per section 31 of the IBC code, the government should not be initiating proceedings. Further, there is a section under IBC, section 238, which says that IBC will have an overriding effect over all other laws, which will also include GST laws. So when section 31 of the IBC says that what has been approved in the resolution plan is the only amount that is payable to the government, after that the government cannot come after the corporate debtors asking for the remaining amount of money which stands extinguished by the resolution plan. So this kind of issue, fortunately, there is some judicial precedence in this kind of issue. There have also, so this issue has been raised before several high courts. There are also Supreme Court rulings in this issue. So the first landmark judgment in this issue is by a 3-judge bench in the case of Ghanshyam Mishra and Sons Private Limited. In this case, it has been held that once the resolution plan is approved by the NCLT, all the claims stand frozen and no further claims, and claims which are not a part of the resolution plan will stand extinguished, and nobody can come and initiate proceedings to recover that amount. This decision was thereafter used by the Supreme Court in the case of Ruchi Soya Industries Limited. In this case, the Customs Department had initiated proceedings against Ruchi Soya for payment of customs duty after the resolution plan had been approved. In this case, the department had not submitted any claims during the resolution process. When the resolution plan was being approved, at that time there were no claims by the department. In this case, the Supreme Court said that whatever department was owed by Ruchi Soya, department should have submitted a claim during the resolution process, and if they have not, they now cannot go after Ruchi Soya and say that they want their money. So this was what was held in Ruchi Soya. Apart from Ruchi Soya, there are other High Court judgments. Ultratech Natsara Cement Limited, Garden Silk Mills Limited. In these cases, the department was vigilant during the resolution proceedings, the department had submitted their claims, but because of the ill financial health or deteriorated financial health of the corporate debtor, it was held that the department will not be paid anything. That is, no money will go to the operational creditor. So, in such cases, the Rajasthan High Court and the Gujarat High Court have held that no money will be payable to the department. The department cannot initiate proceedings against Garden Silk or Ultratech and ask for any other dues, because all dues stand extinguished once the resolution plan is approved. So we have quite a few judgments which are saying that once a resolution plan has been approved, all claims stand extinguished and government cannot come after assessees or cannot come after the corporate debtor. We understand and we know that practically the department is not abiding by this. The department is in issuing show cause notices, and it is our suggestion that assessees should take forward this matter, litigate in view of so many positive judgments in favor of the assessee. Moving forward to the next issue, this is a continuation of the previous issue actually. So there might be a case where what is happening is that before the corporate debtor went into insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings, there was a litigation going on between the corporate debtor and the department. So the matter was, so let's say this is a service tax matter, and the matter was pending before the SISTAT. So if the demand of the department was ₹100, the corporate debtor had paid ₹10 as pre-deposit or had deposited ₹10 to the government. Now, as per the resolution proceedings, it has been held that only ₹2 is payable. Out of ₹100, only ₹2 is payable to the government. The assessee has already deposited ₹10 to the government as part of the pre-deposit. In such a case, what happens? Can the assessee claim refund of ₹8? We are of the view in such cases, refund should be available to the assessee, that ₹8 should be refunded to the assessee. In fact, there are one or two judgments, not with respect to pre-deposit, but with respect to other things where the department, where the courts have held that if excess payment has been made to the GST department or the service tax department, the differential amount which has excessively been paid to the department should be refunded. So this is an open issue. Litigations are ongoing on this issue. There are many assessees who filed a refund of the excess pre-deposit amount, and we'll have to wait and watch as to what judgments come out and how this moves forward. Moving forward, now this is a very interesting issue. So what is happening under GST is that there is a provision under GST under section 16(2)(c), which says that the recipient will be eligible to avail credit only to the extent the GST amount has actually been paid by the supplier to the government. So let's say there is a supplier who has supplied goods to the recipient on which GST payable was ₹10. The recipient has paid ₹10 to the supplier. However, because of the ill financial health of the supplier was not able to pay that amount to the government, and subsequently insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings were initiated against this supplier. So this supplier went into this IBC proceedings. After this, the supplier, the government held, the NCLT held that as part of the resolution proceedings, only ₹2 will be payable. So this corporate debtor of the supplier is not paying ₹8 to the government, and ₹2 is being considered as full and final payment. We have understood that the corporate debtor is not liable to pay the remaining ₹8. But the question that arises over here is that whether the GST department can come and recover this amount from the recipient by denying such amount to the recipient. So in a way, what will happen is that what the department is not being able to do directly due to the insolvency and bankruptcy procedure code, the department will do indirectly. They will indirectly recover the amount from the recipient of the goods or services. So the question is whether the department can do that. We have seen that the department has begun to do this. Whether the department can do this is an open question. So there are two lines of thoughts that are going over here. The first line of thought is that IBC, the purpose of IBC is to give a clean slate to the new company. What the IBC is prohibiting from doing directly, the department cannot come and do that indirectly. And since IBC is prohibiting the GST department to recover such amount from the corporate debtor, this should also be extended to the customer of the corporate debtor. So that is one line of thought, going by the intention of the IBC code. However, the second line of thought that goes is that how the IBC code is worded. It is giving protection to the corporate debtor from any further demand from the department. However, the department is very much within its rights to go after the recipient of service, because the department is not prohibited to deny the credit to the recipient of service to the extent the amount is not paid to the government. So this is a catch-22 situation where we do not have an answer currently as to what has to be done in such situations. Interestingly, there is this issue is also pending before the Delhi High Court in the case of EBIX cash mobility software. It is in a nascent stage at the High Court. We think that some time will take before this judgment is pronounced. The next hearing, incidentally, is today in this court. Is today in the Delhi High Court. We'll have to wait and watch as to how this, what turn this issue takes. So the next issue that we are going to take up is, so this is from a different angle. This is also a very interesting issue that is coming up. Now, let's say this company has gone into IBC, okay, and as per the resolution plan approved by the Committee of Creditors and thereafter by NCLT, the corporate debtor is liable to pay only 20% of its liabilities to all suppliers. So the corporate debtor may have received goods or services from various suppliers. The supplier would have charged GST on such supplies. The supplier paid GST to the GST department, but the corporate debtor, as per the resolution plan, will only be making payment of 20% of the value of supplies and 20% of the GST amount. Now a question arises that since the corporate debtor is only paying 20% of the value of supplies and 20% of the tax payable, whether the corporate debtor will be eligible to avail full input tax credit. Here, there is a provision under GST, that is the second proviso to section 16, which says that if the recipient fails to pay the value of supply along with tax thereon, he is required to reverse the credit so availed. So if there is any failure to pay by the recipient to the supplier, then the recipient will not be eligible to avail credit. So the moot question that arises here is that this extinguishment of payment by the resolution plan under the IBC code, whether that would qualify as failure to pay or not. So here again, there is no clarity. This is just an open issue, and there are some assessees who are facing some problems here as well. So one line of thought that goes is that as per the resolution plan, 20 rupees is the full and final payment that has to be paid by the corporate debtor to the supplier. As long as the corporate debtor is able to pay 20 rupees to the supplier, which is the full and final settlement, there is no failure to pay, because as per the resolution plan itself, I was only required to pay 20 rupees. The amount payable was renegotiated to 20 from 100. Therefore, we cannot say that there is any failure to pay in this case. And if there is no failure to pay, then credit cannot be denied. That is, the corporate debtor should be eligible to avail full IBC. The second argument that goes is, or the alternate argument that goes is, the corporate debtor was not in a good position to pay. The financials of the corporate debtor were unhealthy because there was a failure to pay by the corporate debtor to its suppliers. There was an IBC proceeding that was initiated against him. There is a failure to pay, and because of which this proceeding, this resolution plan is saying that you can only pay 20 rupees, and therefore credit only to the extent of 20 rupees so paid should be eligible. To the extent of 80% that is not being paid, credit should not be availed. However, here it is to be noted that since the supplier paid the entire amount to the government, I mean, if the corporate debtor is not taking credit, in this case, the government is standing to benefit because the amount is being paid, the GST amount has been paid by the supplier to the government, and it is the corporate debtor who will lose out on this process. It seems that that should not be the intention. In such cases, since government has already received its tax dues, corporate debtor should be allowed to avail the credit. But this is an open question. The second situation that may arise over here is that it may so happen that when the recipient is not paying the tax to the supplier says that I am not going to pay anything from my pocket to the government. If the recipient has not paid to me, I will also, I have not paid this to the government. When the supplier itself has not paid to the government, then we feel that there would be no case for the corporate debtor or the recipient of supply, and in such a case, credit will definitely not be available. So the next issue that we are going to take up is GST implications on transfer or sale of business under IBC. So when a CIRP proceedings is initiated against the company, there are various resolution applicants who are submitting resolution plans. Supposing there is a case where the company buyer proposes to buy the corporate debtor as a going concern on a slump sale basis. In that case, what will be the GST implications? So under GST, there is a provision which says sale of business as a going concern will be considered to be an exempt supply on which no GST is payable. So in such cases, we have to examine where we are of the view that the corporate debtor is a going concern and qualifies the conditions or attributes to qualify as a going concern. We can say that this is an exempt supply and there will be no liability of GST on transfer of business under IBC as part of these resolution proceedings. There may also be a situation where no resolution plan is approved by the committee of creditors, that is, the resolution proceedings fail and the company goes into liquidation. When the company goes into liquidation, the liquidator will be selling the assets of the company on piecemeal basis. So mostly when a company goes into liquidation, it is difficult to sell the company on going concern basis. Then the liquidator is trying to maximize the value that it can generate from selling the assets. So assets are sold on piecemeal basis to different buyers. In such a case, we are of the view that this is purely a supply of goods or supply of assets of the corporate debtor. This will qualify as a supply under GST, and GST will be payable by the liquidator on sale of such assets. Now, very interestingly, there are cases under income tax where they are saying that capital gains on sale of such assets under liquidation, this will also go under the waterfall mechanism under section 53 of the IBC code, and only after payments have been made to secured creditors, only then this amount will be payable to the income tax department. However, we are of the view that such judgments should not be applicable in the case of GST, because when the assets are getting sold, so let's say the asset is getting sold for 100 plus 18% GST, that is for 100 plus 18. So 18 rupees in this case is specifically being collected on account of GST. So here, GST will become payable, and thereafter 100 rupees that is left, on this 100 rupees, waterfall mechanism will be applicable. Now, the waterfall mechanism that I was just discussing, I would like to elaborate a little bit more on that before I move on to the next issue. So we understand that when a company goes into insolvency, it is not in good health. It is not being able to pay all its creditors. So if a resolution plan is accepted and there is some money that is getting infused into the company, this money will not be sufficient or enough to be given to all the creditors. So there is an order of priority that has been given by the code itself under section 53. Broadly, the order of priority as per the code is that the workmen, the employees, and the secured creditors should be compensated first, or should be given back their money first. Thereafter, the fifth order in priority as per section 53 is government. So under section 53, the second order in priority, second person in priority is the secured creditors, and fifth in line is the government. Now, this was the understanding, and most judgments that were coming under IBC were also on this line, that first the creditors would be getting paid, and if after that some money was left, then the government under 53E would be paid as an operational creditor. However, there is a judgment by the Supreme Court in the case of Rainbow Papers, wherein the Supreme Court has held that the government department is a secured creditor in this case. So this was a judgment under the Gujarat VAT Act. Under Gujarat VAT, there is a section 48 of GVAT Act, which says that government will have a first charge on the property of the assessee. So by reading that provision, the Supreme Court held that since government will have a first charge on the property, then by operation of statute, the government is also a secured creditor. Now, under GST, under section 82, there is a similar provision as section 48 of the GVAT Act. Even under section 82, it is said that the government will have first charge on the property of the assessee. So if this judgment is applied literally, then under GST also what will happen is that the government will become a secured creditor, and in the waterfall mechanism, the government will be equated with the secured creditor and should be paid first. However, if you look at the intent of the IBC code, the budget speeches and all other documents released by the government, it is very clear that this is not the intention of the government. The government wants the secured creditors to be paid first, and thereafter they want themselves to be paid. In line with this intention, after the judgment has come out, the government has released a paper. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has released a paper, and in that paper, they have proposed to clarify that in every case, no matter section 48 of GVAT Act existing and no matter section 82 of the GST Act existing, the government will always be treated equally with other unsecured creditors. However, this is just a paper that has been put to public domain for public comments, and this is yet to be notified by the government, or clarification is yet to be issued. But the Ministry of Corporate Affairs is contemplating on this, and we are hoping that this will come out. So once this kind of a clarification comes out, there will be much more clarity on this issue. So the next issue that we are taking up are procedural issues under the IBC. So what was happening was that when a company was going into IBC, a resolution professional was getting appointed, and the resolution professional was expected to undertake all GST compliances and file returns, etc., etc. So there was a lot of ambiguity, and there were a lot of issues that the resolution professional was facing with regards to compliances under GST. So in 2020, a notification was issued by the government regarding the procedural aspects of how the resolution professional would be going about this. Thereafter, there were two circulars also issued under GST, which was explaining as to how the resolution professional would be undertaking this. So the first clarification that came out in that circular was that the first thing that was specified in the notification was that the resolution professional has to take a separate GST registration. So the resolution professional will take a separate GST registration and will be considered as a distinct person of the corporate debtor. So essentially, the resolution professional can take a separate GST registration and conduct its business. Alternatively, it has also been clarified that the resolution professional may continue under the GSTIN of the erstwhile corporate debtor only. So it is not necessary that the resolution professional has to undertake a separate GST registration in all cases. Resolution professional ideally has an option to either take a fresh registration or to continue under the old GST registration. Now, here, mostly it is seen that cases where the company is completely non-compliant, has not been filing GST returns for a long period of time, etc. In such cases, resolution professional takes a new GST registration. However, in cases where the company is compliant, has been filing its GSTR1 and GSTR3B, also in cases where the corporate debtor itself has a lot of input tax credit in its ledger, in its electronic credit ledger, in such cases, the resolution professional prefers to continue the erstwhile GST registration of the corporate debtor instead of taking a new registration, because the resolution professional would be able to utilize the credit. So that's one thing related to registration. Second comes the return. So it has been clarified that the resolution professional is required to file returns only after appointment of resolution professional and registration of the resolution professional. So for the past period, for the pre-CIRP period, the resolution professional is not expected to file returns. So if the corporate debtor is very non-compliant and has not filed returns for the last 1 year, it is not expected of the resolution professional to file returns for that period. Resolution professional is only expected to file returns after it has assumed responsibility as a resolution professional. Further, it has been clarified that the RP can, supposing the RP has taken a new fresh registration, even then the RP in its first return under section 40 can take ITC on the basis of the invoices issued to the corporate debtor. So the invoices issued to the corporate debtor may have the GSTIN of the corporate debtor and not the GSTIN of the fresh registration taken by the resolution professional in the name of corporate debtor. But it has been clarified that the resolution professional can take ITC on such invoices, and then the time limit prescribed under section 16(4) will also not be applicable on the resolution professional. So relaxation has been given to resolution professional to avail input tax credit. However, all of such input tax credits have to be availed by the resolution professional in the first return filed by the resolution professional. Thereafter, whenever the resolution professional is filing the GSTR1 and GSTR3B, the resolution professional can only take credit on invoices that have been raised on the GSTIN taken by the resolution professional in the name of the corporate debtor. The next question is that there might be situations where a resolution professional was appointed, but midway a new resolution professional is appointed. That is the first. So there is a change in resolution professional during the CIRP proceedings. So whether the new RP is required to take a fresh registration. Here it has been clarified by the circular issued in 2020 that the new resolution professional is not required to take a fresh registration. The resolution professional can continue on the GSTIN taken by the erstwhile resolution professional in the name of the corporate debtor. There is another question that is floating around, that is, there might be situations where the resolution professional himself has missed out on payment of some GST liability, or there has been some non-compliance under GST by the resolution professional. So, what will be the liability of the resolution professional? Here we understand the liability of the resolution professional will be restricted to the resolution fee paid to the resolution professional, and nothing over and above that can be demanded from the resolution professional. So the next procedural issue over here is the balance in the electronic cash ledger of the corporate debtor. So what may happen is that there may be some balance in the electronic cash ledger of the corporate debtor, but after CIRP proceedings are initiated, the resolution professional has taken a fresh GST registration. The resolution professional will not be in a position to utilize the balance in the electronic cash ledger. So here it has been clarified that the resolution professional may claim refund of the balance lying in the electronic cash ledger. The next question that arises for consideration is liquidation. So supposing the company, supposing the resolution proceedings against the company have failed and the company goes under liquidation. In such a case, whether the liquidator will be required to separately be registered under GST law. We are of the understanding that the liquidator is not required to be registered under the GST law. The liquidator can continue on the GSTIN of the resolution professional itself and undertake business under the GSTIN of the resolution professional itself. Secondly, as we've already discussed, in case of sale of assets in IBC, in liquidation proceedings, GST will be payable by the liquidator. So broadly, these were the issues that we wanted to cover. If there are any questions from any participants, I would be happy to take those up.
Thank you, Nivedita. I would like to just share the questions. Actually, I would like to tell you that you have covered the topic well, that we don't have any questions on the technical part, but only one question is there, that how we will be able to get the PPT of this program.
Ma'am, I can mail the PPT to the concerned email ID of ICAI and they can share with the participants.
Okay. So apart from this, I can't see any questions. So we can just wait for a minute. If I get some questions, so I can just share with you, or we will wind up the session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I think so. No more questions. So I would like to thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of full team, and such a wonderful session that you have taken all the lively issues. You have explained it so well that so many participants are attending live. I can see so many of attendants, but not a single question on the technical part. So I would like to thank you. Thank you very much for accepting this session and giving us this session. Thank you very much, Nivedita ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Now we would be starting our second session. So for second session, mind management by speaker Akriti Kohli. I would like Charanya to just introduce the speaker and take this session forward.
Thank you, Manisha.
Yeah.
CA Akriti Kohli. She has 8 years of experience across audit, taxation, and finance. She started her career with E&Y, moved on to be the head of a hospital, and is currently working with National E-Governance Services Limited. She has been an all-rounder in academics and extracurricular activities. She topped in her district across all streams in 12th. She's a rank holder in CPT. She's participated in group discussions, declamations, and other competitions over the years. She strongly believes in mental health and is a regular volunteer at government schools, blind children's schools, rehab centers, and slums for meditation programs. She's a breathwork teacher with Art of Living and teaches programs where individuals learn Sudarshan Kriya, which helps immensely in their physical and mental well-being. She's also a craniosacral therapist, which is an alternative healing practice. Welcome, C.A. Akriti Kohli. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Aranya. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I'll just share my screen. Okay. So a very warm welcome to all of you. I hope my screen is visible. So today's session is about mind management. Okay. So today's session is about mind management. So we'll start with it. But the first question that I would like to ponder upon here is, what is brain and what is mind? Because often this the line which divides both of them can be pretty thin in some cases. So firstly, what is brain? Brain is basically a tangible organ which has a definite shape and structure, and it coordinates different functions of the body as part of nervous system. So brain is basically one of the most important organs in our body, and it can be touched. It has an existence. It has a shape, size, structure, and it has three major parts, which is cerebellum, cerebrum, and brainstem, which can be visible from this diagram also. Here is the cerebellum, then there is the brainstem, and the other are the parts of the cerebrum, that is parietal lobe, occipital lobe, frontal lobe, and temporal lobe. Don't worry, this session is not going to be about scientific things, since all these terminologies coming from a commerce background can be pretty awkward to hear. So this is basically what a brain is. It has a tangible space. But what is mind? Mind is something which does not have a physical existence, but it is there. We can't touch it, but we just know that it is there. It is often defined as the person's consciousness, then understanding, and the thought process. The mind cannot act on its own, but it requires the brain to act upon something. And how do we say when we say that the brain is? Sometimes what happens is we use a phrase called, oh, it's all over the place. I am all over the place. So when we use a phrase like that, it simply defines that there is something called as mind, which is not just there inside us, but it is all around us also. So mind is something which is there inside our body, which is outside our body, and it affects how we are and also affects how the people around us are, how our environment is. So that is the difference between brain versus mind. So how can we define mind exactly? According to Britannica, mind is a complex of faculties involved in perceiving, remembering, thinking, considering, evaluating, and deciding, which simply means that mind is something which helps us take decisions, which helps us analyze things, and which helps us decide whether to do, whether not to do. It is the judgment which plays a role in the form of intellects and help us take the right rational judgments. Then it helps us recall the correct data. For example, we go for an exam, then what do we need to write, what are the facts and figures, all that remembering. The mind helps us remember that. Now, how do we understand mind? The mind can be understood through the sensations, the perceptions, the emotions, the memory, desires, the reasonings, motives, choices, what are the traits of a personality and the unconscious. So basically, mind can be divided into conscious and subconscious, basically, or the unconscious. Conscious mind is the mind which is present right now, which helps us understand that, oh, what all is happening all around us, what are the emotions that a person is feeling at a particular point of time, what are the sensations, what are the reasons, what are the various personalities, how do I feel. That is how we come to know that, oh, the mind is there. So moving on, now the question comes, why do we need management at all? Why do we need to manage our minds? And why now? What is the need at this point of the time? See, mind is something which is a powerful slave, which is a wonderful servant, but it is a terrible master. So it means if our mind is a healthy, calm, peaceful mind, it will result in a focused, concentrated person, and we will be productive in our works. And we will have clarity, our intuition will work, we'll have lots of ideas, and it becomes very easy and effortless to work and to solve the problems. Acceptance to failure becomes very easy, success becomes easy, and in case of failure, we can very easily quickly bounce back also. But then another question comes up, that why do we need to work on our minds right now? Because there are too many options. Our ancestors used to live very simple lives. They did not have this kind of technology, so many questions, so many judgments, so many decision makings they had to do. That kind of lifestyle was not there. But in today's world, the choices around us are so complex that minds have become chaotic. And at the same time, we hardly have any time to pay attention to our mind or our own self. So that is why right now is the time when we have to focus and we have to see how to take care of our own mind. Let's just do a small experience. Let us just do a small exercise to understand what I am trying to say here. Let us just close our eyes quickly. Let us just take a journey to the zoo. We'll go to the zoo in our minds. So there is a jeep outside the zoo. You have opened the door and you are sitting inside now, and you are going to go in the zoo in this jeep. So now you have entered the zoo. On the right side, there is a bear who is lying down. Then on the left side, there is a lion. Going ahead, there is a beautiful garden where there are lots of snakes. Oh, now comes the peacocks. Okay, now as we go on the left-hand side, there is a monkey which is on the tree. Do not see that monkey. I tell you that monkey is jumping from one branch to the other branch. Do not see that monkey. You are not supposed to see that monkey. Now, that monkey is eating the banana, but do not see that monkey. Do not see that banana also. Now, the monkey is wearing a red cap. But you are not supposed to see that cap also. Do not see the monkey. Now, slowly open your eyes. Okay. So, how many of you saw the monkey? Yes, you saw the monkey. Then you saw the red cap also. Then you see the monkey jumping also. And then you saw the banana also. So what does it mean? See, it means that the mind has its own minds. When we tell the mind not to do something, it will do that thing only. And you remember when we used to study, We would not want to study, even though there is an exam, and but the mind would be ready to sit and watch a long movie or go to a party or to eat an ice cream. It would always be ready. It will not feel sleepy or bored at that time. So mind has its own mind. It does not want to behave. It does not want to focus on what needs to be done right now. It wants to wander on of its own. Despite everything, there is a good news to it, that mind can be trained and disciplined. And there are certain ways which we are going to see in the further slides how we can do that. So, how can we make the mind make the mind behave? The first way to do that is body mind breath connection. So you people must have noticed that there are different patterns of breathing during different emotions. If we are feeling very sad, then we breathe very heavily and very longly. But if we are happy, our breath would be very light and long. And in fact, our breath changes its momentums and its motions according to the activity that we are doing. If you're putting a baby to a sleep, then our breath will be very slow, not even to make a small noise. But if we are climbing the stairs, or if we are trekking in some region, or we are jogging, then our breath will become short and fast. So the way our breath changes according to the emotions, we can also change our emotions through the breath. If we take deep, long breaths in very difficult or very pressurizing situation, it will always help us out. In fact, all of us many a times face such situations in the client place or in the personal lives. The best way is just take a break of 1 minute and just breathe. In fact, we just need to disengage ourselves and we just need to breathe in that particular moment and then take things forward. It would often help to bring the issues down instead of escalation of certain issues. So you see that the nature has bestowed us with this beautiful system to reset ourselves, that is through the breath, which is very, very beautiful. Okay, another tendency of the mind is to oscillate between the past and the future. But if we keep on continuously breathing, if we pay focus, we pay attention to the breath, to take deep, long breaths every day for 5 to 10 minutes, preferably in the morning or during the day or whenever it's possible, our breathing ensures that our mind is always present in the present moment. It will not go into the past and future. So we can also experience it ourselves here right now. I want all of you, those who are attending the session, to please close your eyes. Now take a normal deep breath in and let go. I just want you to see how is your mind right now. On a scale of 5, I want you to rate yourself how calm and peaceful you are. How many thoughts are there in the mind? Now I want you to take 3 to 4 long, deep breaths. Now, just observe that on the scale of 5, what is the rate that you would like to give now? If stress, tension, number of thoughts were 5 earlier, what is it now? Is there any change? Slowly open your eyes. Well, I rated myself 2 earlier. Now I feel it's 0.5 because my mind is in the slides. Okay. So, if we practice this daily, we have this wonderful, wonderful system where we can manage our mind brilliantly. And this will, see, what happens is once we are regularly practicing it, then after a certain point of time in that particular situation, your breath pattern will automatically take over and you'll automatically become calm. You'll need not make an effort also to go into that mode. Then second is movement of the body. The movement of the body. What does movement of the body means? See, our bodies, they are designed to move. If we'll see our ancestors, they used to live in maybe forest a long time ago, but still they used to live in forest and they used to have lot of survival instincts, because they had to survive in extreme situations. So they were supposed to move from one place to another. And over the years, over the decades, there has been very less change in the way the body has been designed. Only the work that we are doing on, or the way the movements that we are doing, that has become restricted. We often don't move at all during the day. We just keep on sitting on our laptops and chairs and we just keep on working back to back, which is causing a lot of movement restrictions, which is causing a lot of other problems. And all this affects our mind. If once we start moving our body, preferably through yoga or exercise or walks, morning, evening, maybe beginning with few minutes and then stretching it to hours, then we'll observe that our mind has also calmed down, because it's like the body which is always moving will have a calmer mind, which it's like just how the opposite attracts. The more we move our body, the calmer the mind will become. So as a method, as a part of this thing right now, I would like to teach you certain asanas, certain small exercises which you can do yourself while sitting also, or while moving around during your office hours, before your office hours. But it will help you a lot when you need those 10 to 15 minutes of break for yourself, and it will help you to have a very healthy, attentive and sharp mind. So we just need to sit straight, and firstly massage our head gently. Then we can rub our eyebrows from right to left along the shape. We can gently massage our eyes. We can stretch it along our nose. Then we can do roundwise, clockwise movements on our cheeks. We can press our cheeks. We can pull our ears in all the directions. Ears have the maximum murmur points. They have the maximum points which are connected to the nerves in our bodies, and they tire easily. So we can always pull and gently rub the ears. We can move them in the clockwise direction. We can move them in the anti-clockwise direction. Then another underrated part of our body is our jaws. A lot of tension builds up in our jaws, which affects our mind also. So we can move our jaws also. We can roll the tongue inside. In fact, I'll tell you a very amazing thing that I read about tongue few days back. You see, if we are trying to pick up something, our tongue touches the tip of our our palate unknowingly, so that lifting up the weight becomes easier. So we can roll our tongue. Then we can simply move our heads right, left, slowly, gently. Then down, up. Then we can move our shoulders clockwise, anti-clockwise, and just relax. All these exercises that I have told you just now, they're very simple exercises and they can be done like 10 in 5 to 10 minutes. And these were related to the area of the mind, of the brain. So it helps in relieving the tension in all the nerves of the head region. And you'll see continuous practice also helps. And in fact, just 5 to 10 minutes of all these exercises, these can have a huge shift before and after. So moving on, third is meditation. So if we ask someone what is meditation, we often get an answer that it is concentration. But meditation is not concentration. Meditation is a state of nothingness where we are not concentrating on anything. In fact, concentration and focus are the result of meditation. Once we practice nothingness, we automatically get deconcentration and we automatically get focus as a result of it. What is mind called in Hindi? In Hindi, mind is called man, which means manan. Mind is called man, and the man does manan. Manan is what? It is contemplation. So, meditation is a way, it is a sort of contemplation. It's not thinking, it's just being be in that particular state and just witnessing what is happening all around. So I would like to take you through this also as a part of this. Please sit comfortably and just close your eyes. Take a normal deep breath in and let go. Take another normal deep breath in and let go. Become aware of your feet. Then your legs. Your knees. Your thighs. Your hips. Abdomen. Your stomach and navel region. Diaphragm and chest. Your shoulders. Your arms and hands. Your neck. Your face and head. Your whole body. Take a normal deep breath in and let go. Take another normal deep breath in and let go. Become aware of your environment and listen to all the sounds. Accept all the sounds. Do not stop any sound. Now you are one with your environment. Become aware of your thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Accept all the thoughts. Now you're one with all your thoughts. Become aware of your emotions. All the emotions. Take a normal deep breath in and let go. Slowly become aware of your emotions, your thoughts, your body, your environment, and you can slowly open your eyes. I believe you can feel a shift in your body. Just observe the state of your mind. How is it now? I'll just need 1 second. Please excuse me. Just a minute, please. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yes. Okay. So, going forward, meditation is a very powerful tool. Few minutes of meditation can bring a huge shift in your mind, and if we continuously meditate every day for 20 minutes, then it can have a humongous impact on the mind. Those of you who just meditated along with me, they can observe the shift that have happened. And once we move from this physical world to the subtle world, which is inside us, we can access the power of this mind, where we can access the power of this inner world, the mind, which gives us a lot of inner strength and power. Whatever we want to achieve in our life, whatever success we want, it's easy, and it becomes easy. And in fact, the challenges disappear and efforts minimize at all levels, but the productivity, the results, they maximize at all levels. Then another way is having the resources for the mind. What do we mean by having the resources for the mind? Resources means what? The nature has given us certain resources which we use to produce other final goods. From the perspective of the mind, resources means something which helps us go back to a healthy state quickly. So it is very important for all the individuals to identify that what their resources are. For few people, the resources would be talking to other people, helping other people out, reading a good book, watching a movie, food. Food is often called the comfort food, having a hobby like painting or art. For few people, it will be solitude or meditation. Anything which makes you happy, anything which helps you bounce back to health quickly is what is the resource for the mind. It is very, very important to identify such resources for oneself so that whenever we experience that lower phase, we can access those resources and bounce back immediately. Another point that I would like to mention here is there's sometimes where we have stressful situations. Now, for example, if we have a stressful situation in the office, I can't tell the other person, let me just go resource myself and come back. Sometimes that can become difficult. In those situations, I'll share a hack which usually works for me. Quickly take your attention to your feet. In what happens is feet is always grounded, feet is always in touch of earth, so it automatically transfers the energy down, and you can you can witness a shift in the mind immediately. So that is a hack which is some sort of a resource for me because I love walking in the greenery. So I automatically shift my attention to my feet or to the surroundings around me so that I am able to take my attention away from the stress in the current situation or what is happening right now, access my health around me, access the happiness around me, and then I respond to the situation better. So it is a very good idea that we should have these resources. And in fact, if we meditate regularly, automatically all this starts happening. Then, to moving towards the end, see what happens is in our house, we do cleaning every day. And then when certain occasions come, when guests are coming, then we do a little deeper cleaning. During Diwalis, we do very deep cleanings. But our minds are like our garbage house. We keep on stuffing things in. All the desires, all the thoughts, all the negativity, all the stress, what is happening, what is not happening, what happened in the past, what the troubles, the stress, the desires for the future, everything we keep on piling in our mind. So what happens is it becomes a garbage house. So it is very, very important that we keep on cleaning our mind on a regular basis. So I want you to decide this with me for yourself, that you'll continuously move your body every day so that you have a disease-free body. You will breathe deeply every day so that your breath is not shaky. And you'll meditate every day so that all over you have a stress-free mind and inhibition-free intellect. Inhibition-free intellect is so important because every day otherwise we just keep on accumulating the failures that we have had, the things we have not got, and that discourages us from going beyond our comfort zone and achieving what we are capable of in our lives. So I just hope that this brief discussion that we had here today, it would help you and to work towards a better you. And there is one more important mantra that is a very, very crucial thing, which is practice. Until and unless we practice anything, until and unless it becomes part of our body, our personality, we do not derive the complete benefits from it. So it is very, very important that we practice everything daily. That's all for it. I hope this session brings shift in your life. I really miss that this is not an interactive session that you people are able to see me and know, but I'm not able to directly interact with you. So that is something I miss, but I really hope that this brings a change in your life. And if there are any questions, you are please welcome to share it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Akriti ma'am, it was a very wonderful session, I would say. And there, same like the first session, we don't have any questions from our attendees. So I would like to sum up what are my takeaways from your session. So very nicely explained, very thin line between the brain and the mind. So that you highlighted the difference very well between the two, and the story was excellent, where you were saying you don't see the monkey, and we are all attendees will also be with me on this part, that when you are saying you don't see the monkey, we are seeing the monkey and that banana and that red hat and cap, whatever you told ki don't see, our mind is just going there and grabbing those all sceneries, I would say. So very well explained. And third thing would be that it is actually, I also tried to follow this. So take a few long breaths. That was also very well elaborated. Movement of the body. So exercise and meditate. So next thing was resources, and important of all, cleaning of mind. So in Diwali and all the festivals, we of course do the house cleaning, but cleaning of mind is very, very important to keep our relationships healthy and healthy life. So once again, I'll check with the question answer part. Just give me a moment. I'll just come back. So no questions. Anything from your side, you can just tell us.
I think I have spoken a lot.
Yes, yes, very, very nicely explained. So I would like to thank you on behalf of all the attendees, and formal vote of thanks to you. And thank you, Women Member Empowerment Committee, for the best sessions. Both the sessions both were power packed, best speakers. So I didn't receive any of the questions. And thank you. Thank you for the audience, for the patient hearing. Thank you all the speakers, coordinators, technical team. So now I would like request the technical team to wind up the session. If other coordinators, anything from your side, otherwise we can ask our technical team to wind up the session. Kinjal, CH Aranya.
No, nothing.
I guess that's it from my side as well.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank